All right. Now that we're live, we'll open the meeting of the LDC. Roll call.
Yep. Sherry Boyer,
Hello. Someone's got to hit that. Got it.
James Ellis,
Here.
Stephen Ehrman,
Here.
Madeline Fleury,
Here.
Justice Martin,
Here.
Archie McKee,
Here.
and we still have a vacant seat, and I neglected to do this in the other meeting. Also present, Jeremy Evans, Maria Bourgeois, Russ Kenyon, and Rachel Child.
Great. We'll accept the agenda, or we'll add to the agenda as you wish. Any additions?
Yeah, go away.
Hearing none, we will assume the agenda as written is accepted. Public comment, any public comment? If not, we'll go to approval of the previous meeting minutes of March 28th. Any changes, additions, or deletions to the minutes of March 28th? Hearing none, we'll seek approval, if we will, by motion of the previous meeting minutes of March 28th. We have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by,
Justice.
okay. Second? Steve. Second, Steve
Archie.
Herman. Archie. Or, sorry. Okay, motion by Justice, second by Archie. Any discussion? Go ahead. Somebody cough, that's all. Hearing none, we'll ask for approval of the previous meeting minutes. Please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Bills and communications.
Just as a reminder, I think I sent this out to everybody. We submitted a letter to the governor asking her to remove the fiber tax that's been placed by DOT for the last couple of years on
That's okay.
fiber optic cable that goes along state way. And the budget was approved last week, and that fiber tax was removed. And so I'm sure it's all about our letter.
Well,
Thanks, Jeremy.
God bless you,
Wouldn't have
Jeremy.
happened unless it was for our letter.
There we go. With a fire under their butt. That's good.
That's good.
All right.
That's all it takes. Jeremy, I got a few requests you can make.
I'll write you up.
Maybe we get new fairgrounds, you know, she got $62 million in the budget for Buffalo Bills, so. All right. Committee reports. Committee reports.
Really? Yeah.
Chairman of the committees, any reports?
You do?
Hearing none, we'll assume we can move on next to the treasurer's report. Go ahead.
Treasurer's report, Archie alluded to this, but we saw a big decrease in our cash balance between the February report and March report. We were at $1.4 million. We were at 2.2. And this is because of the payment that we remitted to Franklin County for unspent tourism funds. That's looking at the profit and loss worksheet. As far as the budget, we now have the budget versus actual. At the second part of your packet, I don't have anything to bring up. But if you have any questions, then by all means.
Very good. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
I don't
And
know
thank you.
if this is part of the treasurer's report or not, but I recall as I looked at the agenda and scrolled down through it, there was a section that was, and maybe you're already going to talk about this, I don't know, that was labeled by the numbers. And it had a list of several activities. I wonder if you could go over that a little bit with us, Jeremy? At least.
Yeah, that's part of that annual report presentation that I'm gonna do. in
Let's do
our
this.
new business.
Okay.
He keeps doing premonitions about what we're gonna get to later.
He's ahead of us.
I'll see the bow tie.
That's the rule. Thank you, Mark. Good auditor, that's it. Let's go to the next point. Old and unfinished business.
No, we need a motion, Jim.
I was,
Still need the motion
Oh,
for
sorry.
treasurer's report.
have we got payment from ASAP PAC yet?
Yeah.
It usually just comes later in the month.
Yeah, I was looking at
I'll
that.
make a-
They pay every month, just late.
Is there a
Make a
motion?
motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Who was that?
Justice. and
Justice
Sherry.
made the motion and Sherry seconded. Any further discussion? If not, we will call the vote. All those in favor of approving the treasury report signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the treasury report's adopted. Old and unfinished business. Anyone with any old or unfinished business?
Yes, Sean Kittle's last day is when?
28,
April
So-
29th.
29.
29th. So all of our property he'll be returning on that day, the laptop and whatever else he has.
Yeah, it's just the laptop.
Okay,
Yep.
that was old business.
Any further questions? Old and unfinished business has been done. Now we're on to new business. Jeremy, go ahead.
So new business, before we get to resolutions, there's a couple update presentations we wanted to do. First is related to kind of our year-end annual report. And the second is Rachel will provide us an update on our community development project. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick, and you've all seen this, and so we don't have to go through in excruciating detail, but I did want to make sure we've had a chance to talk about this. I originally presented this to the legislature back in March, and you've seen this, but I think it was really good for me, and I think for all of the staff to spend some time thinking about what we did in 2021. And there's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot that was accomplished. It didn't come without setbacks, things going slower than you would want. We'll certainly talk about some of those things, but in general, I'm proud of the work that we've accomplished and that our team has accomplished. So first of all, we've kind of over the last couple of years narrowed down our focus as far as our goals. We've all seen these before. I don't need to take a lot of time going over them. But these really fit us, and they fit our economic development strategy, and it just works. Really, so the first part of this is kind of looking back at some of the things we accomplished during the year by our different goal areas. So when we look at our economic development climate, done a lot this past year related to broadband, and we really appreciate all the work that Russ does and the expertise that he brings to the table in Franklin County. There's nobody that really, with maybe Dave Wolf, who resident in Harrodstown, but other than that, there's nobody in Franklin County who knows more about this topic than Russ. And we're lucky to have him on board.
Here. Good.
Housing, this is all stuff that you will remember because you're in it, and it was good to present these things in kind of a bullet list to the legislature because they don't always see it as to the extent that you guys do. But we've done, with your support, we've done we've taken specific actions throughout the year that have end up supporting over 212 units of new housing in Franklin County. And we're supporting current or future investment that will exceed $65 million. And some of these things take a long time to come to fruition, and it doesn't seem very exciting, but that's why it's good to kind of look back and see what's been worked on, because it's significant. So we're proud to be a part of addressing housing in Franklin County. As you recall, it was at various points in the year, we were pretty busy with some pilot projects, and we're able to approve several projects and work on some other ones. The investment of these projects will exceed $30 million. A lot of work goes into these, and then even once they're approved, as Maria knows better than anybody, there's never-ending work on an annual basis with these pilot projects. One that we had to take some time to put together, because I know that I don't think about it, Russ doesn't think about it this way either, but we went back and looked at some of the committees and organizations that we're a part of, that we've been asked to participate on. And I think this gets a lot of them, but I don't think it's actually totally complete. But we're actively involved with all sorts of different committees and councils in our official capacities. And I know that all of us are also participate on a volunteer basis for various things as well. So we keep busy providing time and effort and expertise on these committees and boards. And we've also been kept busy with doing some other things last year, where we got a lot going on in Silver Lake Business Park. And then we have never-ending list of administrative things to be working on and taking care of throughout the year as well. As far as our entrepreneurial culture, last year was busy as it always was. A couple of highlights. We supported 2 transition businesses with loans. And we also were able to secure the $565,000 CARES Act grant on behalf of Franklin County that Russ is currently administering. And we also adopted a bridge loan policy, which had been on our list. So if you look at the bottom, in summary, we closed 6 loans, and the total value of those loans was just over $1 million. So we are putting the money we've got to work on behalf of Franklin County and on behalf of us, because we essentially receive no interest from having that money in the bank. And if we make good, solid loans, we're actually going to get a lot more interest back than we would having this stuff sit in the bank. Plus, we're benefiting businesses in the county. As far as our downtown work, I'm going to just kind of pass over this really quick, because Rachel is going to go into more detail. And then we've been spending a lot of time figuring out the transition away from being the TPA for Franklin County. But nonetheless, we were very busy in 2021. And I'm proud of the work that we accomplished, especially with the management of the tourism development and marketing grants. And we gave out a lot of grants and managed a lot of money in 2020, but especially 2021. So this was, Archie's always getting ahead of the rest of us, but this is the slide that he was referring to. We approved 4 projects last year, the value of which the total investment's over $30 million. We approved 6 loans. The total value of those loans was just over $1 million. We supported 212 housing units. We secured 4 different grants valuing over $5.5 million, and we awarded 54 tourism grants. So we kept busy. And then I don't want to spend too much time on this part, but our goals for this year, our overarching goals for this year have not changed. And you've seen a lot of these things before, but we've narrowed, I say narrowed down, but there's still a lot to the individual strategies and actions that we want to be involved in this year. So if we look at our economic development climate, we kind of have it divided into several different subcategories. On the top, you can see land bank, which is a topic that's gotten a lot more attention over the last few months. We'll continue to support housing, broadband, and even other things like we want to participate in discussions related to other challenges that we face. Workforce development, child care. These are things that are housing or affecting our collective ability to have a thriving economy. I just heard a story from someone who was looking to hire somebody for a state agency, professional level position, very good salary comparative to salaries in the area, and very good candidates. And they said no because they couldn't find housing.
Because they couldn't find what, Jeremy?
Housing. They couldn't find affordable quality housing.
Amazing.
And this is a professional position with a good salary.
Does it have to be located in a particular part of the county?
No, but it was in the general area of Saranac Lake, and
Couldn't find a place. Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
vibrant entrepreneurial culture. A lot of these things will not look new. We're just trying to keep doing what we're doing, administer the programs that we've got. Same with downtown, our downtown and Main Street work. This year is about completing what we've started with a lot of these grants that we've been administering for the last couple of years, but also promoting the value of our main streets and downtowns. We want to spend more time promoting our downtowns. And then this needs to be updated, but we've got our resilient industries that have been identified in the SEDS, and this year we want to spend more effort from a marketing standpoint, trying to promote the fact that these are our industry clusters and that we've got vibrant businesses within each one of them. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing, and but before I give it to Rachel, any questions about that report?
I'd like to, on behalf of the entire board, Jeremy, and you and Russ, Rachel, who was just beginning with us, to thank you for all the work you've done, because the proof is in this report as to where we were this past year. And I think, excuse me, I think Justice and I, being carryovers from the old way of doing things in Franklin County Economic Development, are appreciative of our being able to show our colors, and I think we've done very well with it. So our congratulations to you and our staff. Thank you. Good.
Yes.
Same. Ready for Rachel?
Yeah, we're ready for Rachel. So Rachel's going to share her screen now.
All right.
To give us a community development update.
Very good.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, very well.
Great. All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. As Jeremy said, I'll be providing an update on our community development projects. So this is just an overview of the projects we'll be talking about today. So we have the Franklin County Main Street program, which consists of 4 different grant programs from 3 different funding sources. We have the Saranac Lake Civic Center renovation project and the Downtown Malone Revitalization Strategic Plan. So this is an overview of the grant programs we have under the Franklin County Main Street program. So we were first awarded funding in 2018 through Homes and Community Renewal under the New York Main Street program for projects in Saranac Lake and Tupper Lake. And then we received funds again through Homes and Community Renewal, but through New York Downtown Revitalization Initiative. We received $1 million total in funds. So $400,000 of those funds are to establish a permanent location for the Cary and Saranac Lake. And then $600,000 was allocated to establish the Saranac Lake Energized Downtown Fund, which is the largest of the different programs under the Franklin County Main Street program. We then received funds from DEC to establish the Tupper Lake Hamlet Revitalization Fund. And more recently, we received funds again through Homes and Community Renewal to establish the Malone Village Core Revitalization Program. So under the Franklin County Main Street program, that brings us to a total of $1.6 million in state funds and $76,000 in private funds. The private funds come from local foundations, and we've recently helped some grant recipients apply for more funding with private foundations to make up for funding gaps. So we're hoping to receive more private funds soon. So here's a timeline of the Franklin County Main Street program deadlines. April 1st was the target date that we provided property owners for getting their projects out to bid. We wanted to get to contractors before construction season began. Most projects did meet that deadline, but we have some outstanding projects that are receiving engineering services. So they're still under design phase and haven't gone out to bid yet. And then we also have projects that unfortunately did not receive bids. So we're going to be continuing to put projects out to bid in the coming months. May 31st is the construction start date for projects funded through the Tupper Lake and Saranac Lake New York Main Street program. And those same projects must be completed by September 30th. But if there are construction delays due to labor materials, we can request an extension until December 31st of this year. October 31st is the deadline for the Tupper Lake Hamlet Revitalization Fund. We have one project funded through that program that cannot complete construction, most likely by that deadline. So we have already spoken with DEC about getting an extension. December 31st is the deadline for the Saranac Lake Energized Downtown Fund. We have 3 very large scale construction projects, 2 of which are new construction under that program. So because of the amount of work involved, there's no way that they will be done by that deadline. So we have already gone to Homes and Community Renewal to discuss requesting an extension. They won't grant one at this time, but likely will in November, December as we get closer to the deadline. And then lastly, the Malone Village Core Revitalization Program, that deadline is March 31st of next year. So a lot going on this year. So under the Saranac Lake and Tupper Lake New York Main Street program, we have 9 projects total. 8 have gone out to bid, 5 have accepted bids. 1 smaller project is only required to get quotes. So for smaller projects that are they're smaller, they're more straightforward, we just require them to get materials quotes, because if they were to go out to bid, they probably wouldn't receive bids through the traditional bid process. 1 project is currently under construction and will wrap up at the end of May. And then we have 3 projects completed. We received $22,000 from the Adirondack Foundation to support 2 projects under this grant. And we've extended the bid deadline for 3 projects that have yet to receive bids. One of those should receive a bid by the end of this week, and we hope to receive bids soon for the other 2 as well. Then under the Saranac Lake Energized Downtown Fund, we have 14 construction projects and 4 rent assistance projects. 2 projects have gone out to bid, and those property owners have accepted the bids. 3 smaller projects will only require quotes. None are under construction at this time, and one of the projects is completed. We were also recently able to reallocate funds to existing grant recipients and new grant recipients due to other projects being canceled for not progressing and meeting certain deadlines.
What is the 4 rent assistance projects? What is that?
So that's commercial rent assistance for businesses. So it ranges anywhere from, I think the shortest one was about 9 months of commercial rent assistance. I think the longest one is about 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's an average of around $750 to $1,000 a month in rent assistance. Then under the Tupper Lake Hamlet Revitalization Fund, we have 6 projects. 3 went out to bid. 1 bid was accepted. There's 1 very small project that only requires quotes. None are under construction, and 1 is completed. We received $54,000 from the Cloud Splitter Foundation to support 4 projects under this grant, as well as provide mission support. And we've extended bid deadlines for 2 outstanding projects that have yet to receive bids. So in May of 2021, we had a first round of applications for the Malone Village Core Revitalization Program. There is 1 project proceeding from that round of applications, but we still have hundreds of thousands of dollars in unallocated funds. So we submitted a proposal to the state to expand the target area boundary for the grant so that more businesses on Main Street would be eligible to apply for funding. That was approved at the end of March. And currently there's a second round of applications happening, and applications are due May 2nd. When we submitted the proposal to the state, we received 6 pre-applications from interested business owners. So we're pretty confident that with this second round of applications, we'll be able to award the remaining grant funds. And we're hoping to award those funds by mid-May. The Saranac Lake Civic Center renovation project is a project to improve the facilities at the Civic Center to accommodate curling events as part of the World University Games. Those games are hosted primarily in Lake Placid, but also in Saranac Lake in January of 2023. It's a very large construction project, and the FCDC helped the Civic Center secure $4.5 million in grant funding through Empire State Development. And now that the project is underway, we're helping the Civic Center with administrative support, such as submitting disbursement requests and ensuring MWBE compliance. Then lastly, we have the Downtown Malone Revitalization Strategic Plan. We received $75,000 in grant funding through the Department of State to develop a revitalization strategic plan for Malone. We are working with Insight Architecture to develop this plan. There are 10 tasks that we have to complete before we can submit a finalized plan to the Department of State. Those things are, you know, there's the community workshop, there's certain information we have to provide about Malone, things of that nature. Tasks 1 through 6 should be completed by mid-May, and then we'll tackle tasks 7 through 10. And given the deadline of March 31st of next year, I think we're on track to get all those tasks done and submit the plan to Department of State on time. So in conclusion, we have had 9 projects go out to bid in the last 2 months. 4 projects have recently received bids and will soon be ready to begin construction. We have extended bid deadlines for projects that have not received bids and continue to do outreach. That outreach includes re-advertising for those projects in local newspapers. I've sent newsletters to our distribution list of local contractors. There's about 85 contractors on that list. And we're working with property owners and our rehab coordinator to do direct outreach with local contractors. And as mentioned, we will be requesting extensions for either certain projects or all projects under certain grants to accommodate projects that cannot complete construction by the deadlines. So in total, we have 30 construction projects, 4 vent assistance projects, 13 projects have gone out to bid, 8 bids have been accepted, 5 projects only require quotes, so those are smooth sailing, and 1 project is currently under construction, and 5 projects have been completed. Are there any questions?
Are the 5 projects that are completed?
They're under different grants. They're the ones under the Franklin County Main Street program, and there's some from every grant. So, but I could get you a specific list if you want. Yeah. There are projects that were completed in Saranac.
What was the question? I didn't-
Couldn't hear
Yeah.
it. Yeah, what was the question?
The question was, what were the 5 completed projects?
Oh, got it.
Hmm. Did you hear my answer?
Let's see. So,
Well, couldn't hear the question, so I didn't know the answer. Repeat
Okay.
it.
So the answer was that there are projects that were completed in Saranac Lake and Tupper Lake. And we have projects that have been completed under 3 of the 4 grants that make up the Franklin County Main Street program.
Very good. Any further questions?
I've got a quick question. Rachel, you may not know the answer to this, but the Saranac Lake Civic Center project with the improvements that are being done to allow curling to take place, is there, after the university games, are they planning to keep that, whatever they're doing, to keep that open so that can serve as a tourist attraction? As another amenity in Saranac Lake? Because we lost our curling center here about 50 years ago, I think. I think it was down where Madden's transfer is. And that's a sport a lot of people show some interest in.
Yeah, I mean, it will still be available for use. It'll still be, you know, an arena that can be used for local sports, or if there's any events to be hosted in the future. And I think, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, there's also some energy efficiency updates being made to the building as well. You know, that it's pretty costly to run buildings like that, you know, keeping the arenas cool and all of that. So yeah, it'll be amenities that can be used in the future.
Good. So I could do some reach out down here, perhaps to the Chamber of Commerce and the town, I guess, has the town that owns the ice rink, or is it the village?
No, it's separate.
Separate corporation.
Okay, so maybe we can get the chamber involved, and we could have them help make a pitch to have curling down here as an attraction and help bring locals and visitors together.
I think what they're hoping is that it will be a legacy. It's not just about the university games, and that they'll have a better facility, and they'll have the know-how to set up
To run them, great.
to have a good ice and all that kind of stuff, because you got to have the right kind of ice for
curling.
competitive curling. It's different
I see, I didn't know that.
than
I didn't
hockey.
That's
And,
cool.
Yeah, so they'll have that know-how, and they'll have that ability now with these
Sure.
upgrades.
Yep.
And I know that they're very, very busy during the year with hockey and hockey tournaments. It sounds like they want to try to fit in some curling events in between all of that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things they're going to be looking at are more shoulder season curling events,
Good.
earlier or later than what they have previously been able to have as far as the ice on, because they don't keep the ice on year round.
That's
So,
exciting.
If hockey is winding down in March or April, they might be able to fit in curling events that they would have not had the chance to do
Sure.
previously.
That's great.
Just for your information, Rachel, in terms of what you're doing, you have a recently updated arena in Tucker Lake too, updated with shower rooms and locker rooms, et cetera. You have one in Malone, which went through something, maybe Archie, you can help me or somebody can help me, about the Malone situation. I think they did something up there within the past 2 or 3 years, Archie, would that be right?
The arena is managed, the arena is owned by the village, but it's managed by Malone Minor Hockey Association
Right.
here in the village, and they are very industrious, and they have done a lot of updates to the facility inside, bleachers, restrooms. A couple years ago, we had quite the discussion about replacing the glass around the arena. That's been updated. And recently, the arena has been awarded two $250,000 grants that they're going to use to, they've got to relocate the compressors that are used to cool the ice. It is they're quite noisy and they're impacting the neighborhood, so they're going to use a portion of that to move it to another side of the arena. And also they're going to be building an additional skating surface up there. And so they have got some money to work with, and we're very grateful for that. The rec park is really receiving some attention. They've got some money for, and this is all pretty much courtesy of Billy Jones, for a new building. They had a building over on the rec park, Duane Street side, that was 60 years old and maybe more, and it just wasn't serving the needs anymore. So that has been torn down, and they're going to use funds to put up a new building. Plus, they've also received another $100,000 through, I think it's Adirondack for Kids, to repave the area around the new building. We've had that in our pocket for a couple of years, and we hate to do a repaving project and then have a bunch of heavy equipment in there to build a new building and tear up nice new paving. So we're going to wait until after the building is completed and then do the paving. We would create additional parking because with the tennis courts that have been resurfaced and new basketball courts, pickleball courts created, we're getting a lot of play in those areas. So the community has been very fortunate.
Thanks, Archie. Well, Rachel, you can see the impact of what's going on, excuse me, in all three communities. And I would dearly love to see somehow a tie-in among the three of them so that we can really do some great work as a heritage project all through Franklin County. Rachel, thank you for your report. Appreciate it very much. Any further questions? If not, we'll move on to the rest of the agenda. We have 3 policies that have to be discussed and adopted. resolution number 2022-13, employee compensation. Jeremy, wanna walk us through that one?
Yep, Rachel was hired at $45,000 per year, with the stipulation that she could be eligible for, after a 90-day, we can call it probationary period, for a raised $48,000. And I've been obviously working with Rachel, and you can see by the presentation she just did, she has helped us make tremendous progress with a lot of these grant programs. She's learning way quicker than I think I ever have on anything. She's been a perfect fit when it comes to our project management skills that she comes to us with, and she's assertive and has done great work. And so it's my recommendation that we follow through with that possibility with this resolution.
Very good. Any questions on resolution 2022-13? If not, we'll accept a motion to approve resolution 2022-13.
I'll move, Steve.
Moved by Steve, second.
I'll second it.
Second by
Yep.
Justin.
Yep.
Any discussion?
Just a quick comment, I think the list of projects that Rachel's involved with at this point really kind of is clear testimony to the importance of filling this position. Because I don't know how we could take on any of this work with the thin resources that we had, and very competent, but we needed that additional person, and I'm really pleased that we have Rachel on board, able to do this, and it seems like she's doing a really fine job.
Any other discussion? If not, we will ask Maria to take the roll call vote to approve or disapprove resolution 2022-13.
Okay, roll call. Sherry Boye,
Yes.
James Ellis,
Yes.
Stephen Ehrman,
Yes,
Madeline Fleury,
Yes.
Justice Martin,
Yes.
Archie McKee.
Yes.
Okay, resolution adopted.
Congratulations, Rachel, and thank you for your work. It's great
She
to have
left.
her. She's left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't tell her, but when I was in the Army, you got a promotion, you used to have what they call the wet down party. Wet down party, that you went to the officers club, and the person who got the award stood the tab for the day. So.
Hell of an award.
It's not too late.
All right.
We have a different employee handbook now.
Oh, darn.
good thing,
Ah.
good thing.
All right. We have also, moving on, resolution 2022-14 to adopt a revised credit card policy. We'll make sure that when we move the question, that we adopt it with the amended Article 4 to add the idea that we use the credit card policy included rental car.
Related expenditures, yep.
Related expenditures to the credit,
Yes.
to the rental cars. Since we've had some discussion, is there any further discussion? If not, the chair will accept a motion to approve 2022-14 for the LDC. Go ahead, anyone?
So moved.
Moved by Archie, second.
Second.
Sherry, second by Sherry. If there's no further discussion, Maria, go ahead with the roll call vote.
Okay, this is for resolution 2022-14. Sherry Boye,
Yes.
James Ellis,
Yes.
Stephen Ehrman,
Yes,
Madeline Fleury,
Yes.
Justice Martin,
Yes.
Archie McKee.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Thank you, everybody. We go on now to resolution 2022-15 to approve an MOU with the Village of Tupper Lake. Jeremy, can you give us the background quick?
Yeah, so Rachel referred to the cloud splitter grant that we received. We received $54,000
Right.
for that grant, private foundation grant. And most of it is earmarked for specific projects received to help with their gap financing for the renovation projects. However, a portion of it, $17,000, was set aside for the village of Tupper Lake to be able to conduct a kind of a visioning or master plan for the junction area down by the train station. And so this MOU just sets forth the basics between the village and FCEDC, where we're saying, you guys do the work, hire your consultant, give us documentation of the expenditures you made, and then we'll reimburse you from that grant.
Right. Just for everybody else's information, because I think this is an important part of our tourism infrastructure in the very near future. As of right now, the railroad should be completed with all of its reconstruction to the tune of about $25 million from Big Moose, which would be south of Tupper Lake, to the Tupper Lake Junction. Tupper Lake Junction is called that because at one time there were 3 railroads that junctioned in Tupper Lake. They met there. And presently, also, there's a request in to Russ, I think, and to us for probably some work in the railroad depot. Am I correct, Russ? Yeah.
Correct.
So that being the case, there's all sorts of things popping, and that end of town. There's all sorts of things popping at that end of town, which I think is going to be vital to the tourism infrastructure in all of Franklin County. We expect full train operations in 2023, and based on the consists that we'll be able to use, consists basically is a fancy name for the number of cars you'd be able to run. We can run actually up to somewhere around 200 or better every train, because it's going to be on demand, scenic railroad, primarily excursion. So in other words, when they arrive there, they've already got some place to go. So passengers having some place to go is going to be very important to that end of town, because that's where you have a brewery, 2 or 3 restaurants, all sorts of stuff can happen there. So I want to thank the Village Fathers in Tupper Lake for putting this MOU in, and also for the reason we've done it. Therefore, any questions on this MOU, Memorandum of Understanding of Tupper Village of Tupper Lake? Okay, none being heard, no questions being heard. We need a motion to approve Resolution 2022-15. Motion?
Steve?
Motion by Steve Berman, second, Archie. Any further discussion? If not, go ahead, Maria.
Okay, this is for resolution 2022-15. Sherry Boye,
Yes.
James Ellis,
Yes.
Stephen Ehrman,
Yes.
Madeline Fleury,
Yes.
Justice Martin,
Yes.
Archie McKee.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Thank you, everybody. I just one last comment.
I
think
have
we'll be-
something to add
Oh,
too.
go ahead, Sherry.
I was just going to ask if we can go into executive session. I want to discuss, can I say what I'm discussing? Personnel? Personnel.
Personnel.
Very good. We'll take a break though before we go into executive session. At my age, break.
It won't take long.
Well, it's, yeah, that's, yeah, it's not you that's sitting there, right? Again, I'm really happy with doing the things that we've done today. You know, we're beginning to get the concept, there's 19 towns in Franklin County. Now, if we could only get the west side of the county to come alive, and I think with Justice's lead, as he did when he was chairman of this board, we could probably get something done over there. And I'm looking forward to that day, because I think more and more, we only live and expand with the idea that there's 19 towns. So any discussion, anything further? If not, we'll go ahead and ask, should we adjourn? Or I'm not sure.
No, we
because the
Motion.
executive session.
Motion
Yeah.
to executive session.
We need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sherry, second by Archie. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Time out, folks.
Okay, in the meantime, Russ, can you make sure everybody gets into the breakout session? I'm gonna make a breakout session.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fill my cup. Yeah.
Jeremy, you gonna hit any buttons?
With a cup of
Don't
coffee.
hit any buttons. You got it, Archie.
Okay,
No use having coffee, considering.
because of the break, yeah.
No.
I got it. You and I are close to age, and they said, well, that won't take too long.
Where I got in trouble the last time.
Must be that. No.
Perfect.
It's like perfect.
You know how much.
Here we are again.
Great job.
Perfect.
Oh, we're back.
We're all back, so now we can.
Now, anything else to come before the meeting, please? If not, we'll accept the motion to adjourn, the date of the next meeting being May 18th. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
So moved by Archie, second.
Yes.
The meeting is adjourned.
Good. Nice to see, nice to see you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good day.
You
Now,
too.
Rachel, what she's gotta do now, we gotta make sure we find a place to wet down her new